That jokes and truth are twins, huh?
Yeah. How many words per day for a woman, and how many
10,
words
000.
per day for a man?
10,000 for a woman, and for a man maybe 3,000.
But the man's words
Not alright.
Maybe it depends on the day.
maybe there's the generalization, and there is the, what did you call it? The other,
A general rule and an exception.
an exception, right? But I think we can start from somewhere.
Yeah.
In having conversations and trusting one another, and building relationships from there. Probably vulnerability that we're looking at, the ideal will not come in a day.
No.
Maybe not even in a month. But I do believe that there has got to be an outlet for men. And I'm not just talking about men who are like, quote unquote, spoiled, or men who are out of their sorts. No, I'm talking about every solid Jama, even a guy who has got it all together, quote unquote, thinking you've got it all together. You are the best candidate for a conversation.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I will bring my truth from my COVID experience. For those of you who do not know, that I got COVID mid this year in May. And by the grace of God, it was a fever for me and my wife, and we came out of it.
Like David Chappelle.
Just moved on. But that's an experience for other people. But I'll tell you what I discovered. I discovered that COVID is mostly a psychological disease.
Yeah.
COVID does affect the mind more than it affects any other part of your body besides your lungs and anything. It affects the mind. And I say the mind, not necessarily the brain. Because when I was going through that experience, I noticed how lonely I felt. I noticed how vulnerable I was, to any form of disease that would catch me.
Yeah.
And yet, I couldn't be visited. And it took me a week or two to tell my family that we'd had COVID. Why? I did not want to scare them, because there were already other people sick in the family. And one of those days I decided to do something. I decided to pick up my phone and call up someone. As I had those minutes below, and I said, whom can I bless with a phone call? In response to my feeling of loneliness, I said, whom can I reach out to and bless? And since then, I do that thing where I call people to just encourage them and strengthen them. And Lawrence, the feedback that I've received in these 5 months of doing this is amazing. Relationships have gone deeper. It's in the past couple of months that I have connected with Nabuguzi or Facebook, that now she's here physically. It followed that. If you notice, it was in that time that you and I began to talk a lot more, and here we are. And so this is my point. Pick up your phone and call that man just to say, what's up? How are you doing? You never know that you might reach a man who is just about to commit suicide. You never know, you might meet a man who is just about to walk away from his family. You never know, you might reach a man just in time to change his life. So like you said, conversations and like you said, being vulnerable for one another. This, I believe, is how we're going to build each other, to grow each other. Not just here at Solid Jamas, but in the world. And I'll end it with what Paul said, that we have been encouraged, that we will in turn encourage others. And that is the purpose of our lives, to bring the grace and the goodness of God, one conversation at a time right. Here at Solid Jamas, to grow each other in all things and on all sides. So if you're a man out there and you're looking for a space where you will be heard, where you will not be judged, but where you'll find answers.
Not necessarily heard, but listened.
Yes. Yeah. What's the difference? You tell me that.
It's a major difference. I can hear, but I'm not necessarily listening.
Or you can listen and you don't hear what I'm saying.
No, you can listen and you can really hear.
On that note, we really do pray that you have listened and that you have heard and that you have connected. Yeah. And we're going to be doing this every week. And we'll have more guests. And we do hope that Navuguzi Chwanuka, you'll be back with us, because you've been very insightful.
Yeah.
And there is so much in you. And like we said, men need women to be better men, as much as they do need each other. Yeah. So we do this compelled by love for God and our country. Lawrence.
Right. So you can follow us on all our social media channels, on Solid Jamas at Solid Jamas on Twitter, Solid Jamas on Facebook, and Solid Jamas on Instagram. If you want us to address a topic or to share anything, you can write us an email on solidjamas@gmail.com, and we're going to start addressing those issues. If you have an issue with anything that we've discussed in this conversation, that's why we're having conversations. We want to keep discussing. You can also write
you and listen.
Yeah, you can reach out reach out to us on all those social media channels and on our email, and we're going to keep the discussions going on. Next week, we continue having these discussions. Until then,